something else, you go straight to what you're used to. Or sometimes straight to who you're used to. Any recovering addict or recovered addict will tell you that if you really want to get free, there's a period of time that you got to change your playground and your playmates. I don't care how lonely you get, you don't need to go around nobody who's in active addiction. And some people you can go around who are in inactive addiction because they ain't been in inactive addiction long enough. You don't forgive yourself for not forgiving yourself. So you fall and you beat up yourself for the fall and you go right back to the very thing that you fell in. And you dig a deeper hole for yourself. You say you'll never do it again, but you do. You have this long prayer section. You go, Lord, I'm yielding my tongue to you. I'm not gonna speak harshly. I'm gonna do that kind of stuff. Then you have an hour session praying in the spirit. And you feel good about yourself. I am not going to curse again. I'm not going to be sharp with my tongue again. As soon as you get to work and somebody that you know don't like you, look at you. They ain't got to say nothing to you. Look at you in a strange way. Here you go. And you just said you would never do it again. Sometimes it feels like too much effort to learn a new way of doing things. Too much effort to learn a new way. It is harder to unlearn than it is to learn. It really is. Yeah, it is. The problem is I try to put new information on top of old information. I try to put new files on top of old files. Yes. Well, if you keep doing that, if you don't delete files and you put more files on top of them, what's going to happen? It's going to crash. And many of us are crashing, watch this, because we're putting new information on top of old information that we refuse to delete. That's why you can't forgive yourself. That's why you can't forgive them. But if I'm trying to forgive Kim today, watch this, for what she does today, and I haven't forgiven her for what she did yesterday. I've logged so much stuff in my and have not deleted the information. So many of us are walking in fake love and in fake forgiveness because you say you forgive somebody, it doesn't mean that you do. Forgiveness ought to be on a daily basis. You wake up in the morning saying, look, I'm going to walk in forgiveness. You keep saying, I'm going to walk in forgiveness. I'm going to walk in forgiveness because I know offenses must come. Somebody's going to offend me. I don't care how pretty you smile at them. I don't care how nicely you talk to them. And here's what I like about God. I mean, I don't like it, but I like it because he's doing this to bring healing and deliverance to me. He'll make it so I got to deal with who I have not deleted those files. Here's what God's saying to you. I'm speaking on his behalf, all right? All right? Because you ain't clear. Because you've been praying, God, either give me a new job or move them off of this one. And God said, I ain't doing either one because you ain't deleted no file. That's right. Your forgiveness is fake. I'm going to leave you in this situation until it changes you. Y'all mad at me yet? You often feel frustrated by your lack of self-discipline. You're beating up on yourself because you have no self-discipline. Or you're not exercising. I should have known better. And you really start beating yourself up when it ain't, I should have known better. You start beating yourself up when it's, I know better, but I'm still going. I'm still going to say it. I mean, Holy Ghost dealing with you. Don't say it. You better not cuss them out. You better not. You better not. Fix your attitude before you even get in there. Holy Ghost, you just don't know how mad they made me. And I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be mad. And that's when you really start beating up yourself because you lack self-discipline. Because you ain't saying I shouldn't have. You're saying I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway. Your motivation to do things differently goes away when you start feeling uncomfortable. Here it is again. You just give it up because it's too uncomfortable. It's too uncomfortable. It's too uncomfortable. It's too uncomfortable. I'm not going to eat. I am not going to eat any more red meat. I'm not going to eat any more red. I'm not. I ain't no beef. I ain't none of that. I'm not. Matter of fact, I'm not just not going to eat red meat. I'm going to eat healthy. So I'm going to go to Whole Foods. Right. Or I'm going to go to Fresh Market. Or I'll go to, what's a salad place? Crisp. Or I'm going to go to Crisp. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Crisp. Or at least, I'm going to go to I'm going to go to the salad bar in Whole Foods. Because I'm on Fairview Road. Problem is, I get to the Burger King before I get to the Whole Foods. And we in this 5 o'clock traffic. I'm in this 5 o'clock traffic. Does Burger King have salads? So then you look up there, so then you got salad, right? You got salad, then here you go rationalize. Why am I going to get a salad and I'm at Burger King? Your motivation to do things differently disappears as soon as you begin to feel uncomfortable. As soon as you feel uncomfortable, I just give up. Because it's too difficult. You see how we give the enemy place? See how we give place to the devil? The book of Deuteronomy is written in Israel's 39th year in the wilderness. Deuteronomy means the book of the second law. Not that God wrote a second law or a second set of laws. It is the second time that God is speaking or bringing them back to the place where he's reading or having the law read in their hearing. This is year 39. Remember, they're in the wilderness for 40 years. So God is trying to prepare them to move into promise. But he has to remind them of what he told him 39 years earlier. Now, chapter 2, verse number 1, it says, "Then we turned and journeyed into the wilderness of the way of the Red Sea, as the Lord spoke to me, and we skirted Mount Seir for many days." Verse 2, "And the Lord spoke to me, saying, you have skirted this mountain long enough, turn northward." King James said, turn and go straight. It said, you have compassed. You have gone around this mountain. You've been going around in circles long enough. You've been returning to your vomit long enough. Turn and go straight. While you turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, what is God saying to you? Or what area of your life is he saying to you, you've gone around this mountain long enough? You've been returning to your vomit long enough. You've been trying to put the poison out of your mind while trying to get the nourishment out of what you got sick off of long enough. Turn and go straight. God is he's so harsh. You ever been praying and God just kind of listened to you talk about all your problems? He said, okay, well, what about you? Yeah. I know who your enemies are, but I know who your worst enemy is. Your worst enemy is you. So when are we going to get around to talking about you? Because your enemy ain't the reason you in this wilderness. You keep seeing your enemy in this wilderness. But the reason you in the wilderness is because of you. Y'all all right? Do y'all still love me? Yes. Some of y'all didn't answer. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse number 1. "Moreover, brethren, I do not want you to be unaware that all of our fathers were under the cloud, all passed through the sea, all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea, all ate the same spiritual food, and all drank the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. But with most of them God was not pleased, for their bodies were scattered in the wilderness. Now these things became our examples to the intent that we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted." they do not become idolaters, which some of them were, as written, the people sat down, ate and drank, and rose up to play, nor let us commit sexual immorality, as some of them did, and in one day 23,000 fell, nor let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed by serpents, nor complain, as some of them did, as they complained, and they were destroyed by the destroyer. Look at verse 11. Now all these things happened to them as examples, and they were written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the ages have come. Therefore let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. And then he goes on to say, well, there's no temptation to overtaking you but such as common to man. God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted above that which you're able, but with the temptation will also make a way of escape that you may be able to bear it. He's saying you can handle it, but listen. But before he tells you can handle it, here's what he says. He says in verse number 11, you see the results of keep compassing about that same mountain. You see the results. You see the results. Some of them died for various reasons. They saw people around them dying and they kept on. It killed their daddy and they kept on. It killed their sister and they kept on. What makes you think that they could use that and get hooked and you couldn't? 1 Corinthians 10 says, all of these things happen for their learning. That's why it happened. It happened for our learning. They were all baptized into Moses. They all drank from the rock that was Christ. They were all under the cloud. They were all under the canopy of protection of God's mercy. His grace was sufficient then, helping them to get through, but they eventually died. Joshua chapter 7, y'all can turn when you get 1 through 11, very interesting story. It's a story of Achan. It's a story of Achan. Here's a story of Achan. The story of Achan is this, and I'm going to connect some historical dots, and I'm done. So here's the story of Achan. Y'all can, Joshua chapter 7, read it when you get home. Israel has come into the promised land, right? They cross over the Jordan in chapter number 3. Chapter number 4, they're in Jericho. They scream, they go around the mountain 7 times, around the wall 7 times on the 7th day. Then they let a loud shout, and the wall drops, and everything's cool. Chapter number 4, they put these things in the middle. Chapter number 5, they get circumcised at Gilgal. Chapter number 6, they go and they have the battle of Ai. And they go and fight. And they look and they say, they got so few people that we ain't even got to send all our men to fight. So they go get their behinds whipped. And they're trying to figure out why they get their behinds whipped. And Joshua says, God told me. He said, the reason we got whipped is because somebody took what belongs in the treasury. Somebody took the accursed things and hid them in their tent. Remember? And so we know Achan was the one. Listen. God showed me. He said, okay, I'm going to show you the tribe. It's the tribe of Judah. He said, I'm going to even show you the clan. He said, but I'm not going to show. He said, I'm going to show you the family, but somebody in the house, the head of the family, is going to have to go find who the family member is. It was the tribe of Judah. Y'all missed this. It was the praisers. Praising, but taking what belongs in the treasury. So you know what happens? Achan's dad, Joshua says, hey, it's in your house. You got to go find who it is. Achan's dad said, it's my son Achan. He said, bring him out. Achan says, well, you know what? I confess. I did. It was me. Joshua said, thank you. He said, now let's stone him. Now in Acts chapter number 5, there's this agreement. There's this agreement that we're gonna sell our stuff and we're gonna put it all in the treasury. And there's a guy by the name of Ananias and Sapphira, and him and his wife said, listen, we're gonna give a good offering, but we're not gonna give everything. It's in Acts chapter. Y'all can read it, Acts chapter. And you know, maybe this will suffice. Peter comes and says, hey, did y'all give all? Did y'all say y'all was going to give? Yeah, we did. And Ananias fell dead. Ananias falls dead. Sapphira ain't there. The Bible says they go ask Sapphira, did y'all give everything? Did you say you was going to give? She said, yeah. He said, fool, I know you heard. Your husband died. And you think it's going to skip you. One of the harshest lessons that I ever had to learn is that you can be God's favorite and God still don't play favorites. You can be God's favorite, but he don't play favorites. David, you are the beloved. I sent Samuel to your daddy's house to anoint you over all your brothers. You're my favorite, but I don't play favorite. Decide not to make the same mistakes.